In 2022, I did almost the exact opposite of what all my entrepreneurial friends tell me to do. I took some time off. Now, I learned a lot. I traveled to 5 foreign countries. I went to over 20 US cities. I created content for high-level entrepreneurs. I went to at least a dozen networking events of some super high-level people. I made some friends with some of the most accomplished and best humans that I've ever met, and I read my usual 30 books or so. So I want to take a moment to extract what's been most useful from this unusual year for me, and I want to give it to you. First big lesson I learned is that no one knows your path. I didn't focus on money like I usually do this year, and in some ways that's very frustrating because I love money. But I just had other things on my mind. To be fair, I'm only able to take off this sort of time and travel as much as I did because I have made some really, really good investments in real estate over the previous few years. And that's allowed me to take some time for strategic exploration without negatively affecting my financial situation. This allowed me to see the world a little bit and get some new perspective on life. I traveled to and with a lot of entrepreneurs to get a better sense of what's possible and where I might be most valuable. Part of my problem this year has been that so much of the content that I consume is this business content that says pick one thing, focus on it relentlessly, and do not stop until you become a billionaire. I assume this is great advice. I'm not a billionaire and I don't do that. And so for some people who want that and want to become billionaires, it's probably great advice. But for me, I'm just not built to focus relentlessly on one thing. And maybe for a lot of people who don't want to be billionaires but do want financial freedom and want to spend that freedom meaningfully, this might not be the best advice for them. And what I've taken away is that maybe nobody knows the best advice for you or for me. Maybe doing some strategic exploration to see who else is in the world and what they're doing and seeing what's possible can be extremely valuable. Now in 2023, I am going back to focusing on building that next level of financial stability. I really want to get back to work, but I couldn't do that without using 2022 to explore the earth, build some new relationships, which made me feel not just wholly fulfilled, but it also gave me some great insight into what's important to me and what the biggest problems that I can solve are. So what does this mean for you? It means that the loudest people giving the loudest advice on the internet are not universally the correct paths for you to follow. And while there's a ton of great advice out there, maybe you're a contrarian like me and you need to find your own way. And for me, learning is always going to be more important than doing. Meeting people is my favorite thing in the world, and a diverse life is much more appealing to me than a hyper-focused life. And I know people who are so glued to their business that the rest of their life is falling apart or feels empty or both. And I just wonder if that some strategic exploration might create a healthier version of them, or maybe it's just useful advice that nobody is giving them or they're not hearing. And so in 2022, I learned that nobody knows the best path for Alex, and maybe nobody knows the best path for you. Art and business are mixing in exciting new ways. This guy has brought me some really interesting life opportunities. In 2014, I started buying foreclosed real estate as a means to create wealth for myself. It was the first time in my life I had really started paying attention to money, and I didn't do it to become a real estate mogul. I just wanted to buy my own freedom and reduce the anxiety that comes from working for lousy bosses and lousy businesses. And I assumed that if I was going to have free time, I was going to need something fulfilling to pour myself into. And so around 2017, I picked up photography. I could not have imagined when I started that it would shape my life in the way that it has. And I've also found lots of ways to use that talent to make other people's lives better, so everyone's happy about it. But in the last 2 years or so, a few things have changed. First, I got better at cameras and storytelling, and this is the natural progression that comes with years of practice. Second, it seems that now everyone wants and needs creative and high production quality content to tell their story online. I thought cell phone cameras would make my skills obsolete, but the opposite has come true. The cameras are everywhere now, but no one really knows how to use them. I find myself in a fairly unique position that I enjoy telling visual stories and I know camera production very well, and my background in real estate allows me to communicate well with both the entrepreneur and the audience, and few other people are able to combine these skills. So what does this mean to you? My opinion, and I'll make more content about this in the future, is that entrepreneurs and creative storytellers are going to start partnering up in new and bigger ways in the future. Simply throwing money at camera and marketing people will work for now, but the really creative camera people are becoming more able to make more money on their own without having to work for someone else. So for my entrepreneurial friends, I'm telling everyone to start building relationships with camera people in their area and learning how to work together. And if you're the creative type, the opportunity to work with entrepreneurs and learn their language is huge and growing right now. I spent a lot of years trying to create an abundant mindset about money, people and attitude, but in 2022, I felt it on a level that I had never felt before. The world basically runs on oil. It's a powerful fuel, but it's scarce. Money has no scarcity. Wealth is created out of thin air every day, and if you invest your time and resources into making more, you'll have as much as you'll ever need. However, this year in particular, the people I've surrounded myself with have shown me that an abundance attitude is more powerful than I ever really realized. Having a good attitude is obvious and a simple thing that will make your life better and everybody you come in contact with better. I used to have a really bad attitude all the time, and when I gave that up and started becoming optimistic and positive, my whole life got better. But not until this year it really hit me how much certain people embody this as a sentiment, as a deeply rooted behavior. This is my simplest explanation. Negative emotions like envy, fear, resentment, anger, inadequacy, and emotions like this will never ever make your life better, and they won't make anybody else's life better. But positive mindset emotions like gratitude, love, awe, charity, and good things like this will make your life and everyone else's better, and they cost the exact same. There is no downside to this. There is no cost. There is no trade-off, and the positive energy that comes from positive outputs compounds exponentially. I feel like I've seen the failure of the rules of physics that say you can't get new energy from nothing. Humans can generate truly positive outcomes by just putting out positive emotions, and it's completely free. I suppose this is not new information to many. It's not even really new information to me. But as someone who has spent a lifetime with neuroticism, self-doubt, self-destruction, egomania, all sorts of negative emotions, it feels like I have really turned a corner. And a lot of it is because of the people who I've spent time with. How is this useful for you? Both positive and negative energies are self-fulfilling and contagious. You get back what you put out, and you choose what you put out, which means in 2023, there is zero reason to consume any content that makes you feel negative, or spend any amount of time with negative people, or believe any of the negative self-talk that most of us endure. 100% of my time will be focused on solving problems that I can solve, doing it with an endlessly optimistic attitude, and setting a positive example for people where I can, and deleting anything that gives my life a net negative, even a small one. I plan to brainwash myself with abundant positive inputs only, and I suggest you do the same. Happy New Year's, friends. I hope this was useful to you. Make sure you hit subscribe. I think I'll end the video with some music to my favorite pictures and videos from the year for you to enjoy. I will see you in 2023.